Hey guys, welcome back to A Frame of Mind. I'm Ashley. So this week I'm making a video in honor of Cat Week. Obviously I have to pay tribute because I am a cat mom and lover. So this video is going to be pictures and stories of previous cats that I've had. So I will be going out of order in which these cats were in my life, but I have to start with Dahlia because she's my number one. And I'm going to link a couple shelters below where you can actually go and adopt a cat if you've kind of always wanted to and think you're ready to make that commitment. Most people like dogs because they are very loyal, they are very sweet, but they can also be high maintenance and they require a lot of time, which most people have, and no offense to dog lovers out there. I love dogs. I take care of dogs. But for me personally, my family, we've always just grown up being cat people. We always had cats around. We didn't always have a ton of time necessarily to give a dog a proper loving home that it would need. So in our case, a cat was a better fit for us. So starting off with my number one cat, Dahlia, obviously. I've had Dahlia since 2010. I remember ever since I was little, I had friends and they would have pets, whether they were birds or dogs or hamsters. Hamsters was actually a pretty popular one, you'd be surprised. But a girl that I was really close with, she had 4 or 5 cats. And I always used to love going over to her house and playing with them. And I would beg my mom for months and months if I could have my own cat. We actually had a cat at the time. Her name was Amisha. My mom had actually gotten her from a coworker to handle a little mouse problem. But Amisha took care of that. And as much as I loved having a cat, Amisha had been through a kind of rough life her first few years, and she wasn't really quite open to young children like me and my brother. So when I was about 10, I don't exactly remember what day and month. Obviously, I just know it was in 2010 for sure. We're begging my mom, and she said, if you can prove that you can take care of Amisha really well, I will consider letting you get your own cat. And obviously I did. We went to a Milo pop-up in Oakland, which was near our house, to go and get me my own cat. There was a lot of choices. Milo has such a range of pets for you to adopt. If you go on their website, which I'll also link below, they have tons of choices, not just for dogs or cats. They have hamsters, they have snakes, they have, I'm pretty sure on their website at some point I saw goats and horses. So when we got there, there was a good amount of animals there. Dogs and cats mostly. And I was really looking for a kitten because I wanted it to be young so I could bond with it. And I did originally settle on a kitten named Woody, named after Woody from Toy Story. What could be more perfect? Except somebody had already adopted him and they were coming later that day to get him. So I continued looking and I saw Dahlia. She was very sweet. She felt like she had really known love. Milo actually rescued Dahlia off the street and she lived within the Milo system. It's, you know, it's a home if anything, but it's not easy. Dahlia developed some pretty self-sufficient skills while she was at Milo. Making sure she got herself some food, making sure she got her kittens some food. She actually had 7 kittens. 3 of them were hers. And then there was another cat within the system that had the other 4, but was not such a great mother. So then Dahlia took over for her and took care of all 7 of them. Right away, I knew this was the cat that I wanted. And so I brought her home, and just that night, she and I bonded. It was just an instant connection. And I really just felt like I had a friend that I could talk to. And now, years later, she's still been my best friend. She's gotten me through all the trials and tribulations that were middle school, high school, and now college. It was amazing to have someone to talk to about it, or just someone to vent to when you're sad. And she knows when I'm sad. And she'll come up and I'll play with her and I'll just forget why I'm upset. And I wouldn't trade the day I adopted her for anything. I'm not sure when, but I definitely will do a video completely about Dahlia. things that I've seen her do, pictures I have, funny videos I have.
So these two are the first two cats I ever had. I don't really remember them being my pets because I was only 1 around the time that they came into our family. My dad does remember how they were named. The black and white one is actually a Tabby Maine Coon mix, so my dad named the black and white one Tabby, and apparently I named the orange one Tigger, after Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, because what 1-year-old doesn't like watching Winnie the Pooh? So as far as I've been told, my dad adopted them from a Berkeley ASPCA in 2001, so I don't have any pictures of myself with either of these cats. I'm sure there is one somewhere buried in our maze of a garage. Next is Misha. I don't have a lot of pictures of her because she's not what you would call a camera-friendly cat, but she helped us out immensely.
So this is our other cat right now. His name is Binks. If any of you guys are Hocus Pocus fans, when we originally found him, we were watching the movie. We looked at him, we looked at the cat on the screen, and there was his name, Binks. We originally found Binks back in 2015. My mother and I were going for a late evening stroll, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes this sweet little black kitty coming right up to us. Is this little domesticated kitty in this park at 6 o'clock at night? So we looked around, maybe he belonged to someone. So we took him home with us. We made a couple of flyers with his picture, and we kind of posted them around the area where we had found him. You know, maybe he belonged to one of the houses near that area. So we put the posters up. We waited about a month, and as the days went by, my mom just fell in love with him, and nobody else claimed him. So by Thanksgiving, he was our kitty. He's very, very sweet and funny. He has run into the sliding glass door a few times, but that's because he's nearsighted. He has a spot in our front yard that he likes to sit in for hours, guard our house from other cats that might come by to beg for food.
If it wasn't for a community concern for cats, I'll link their website below, we never would have been able to have gotten Binks into a somewhat safer living space. So this is Gene. He wasn't technically anyone's pet. He kind of got food and love from a couple houses on our block. I don't know a ton about his past owners or how he ended up on my street, but when we first moved in, there was this sweet little black and white kitty asking for food. We assumed that the lady who used to live there was one of his caretakers, and over time, he became a pet to us. In the colder months, yes, it does get cold here in California, sometimes, like in November, and December, and January, we'd have him come in, be warm, and get some chow. He and Binks didn't really get along very well, territoriality and all, but overall a very sweet and fun feline. And last, but certainly not least, we have Molly, this little Pikachu fireball of endless energy and a purr to match a motorboat. Out of all the cats we've had, I'd say she's the most miraculous. About 2 years ago, my dad was working a late shift at work, and he noticed something at the end of the loading dock. Turns out it was a little baby kitten who had been separated from its mother. My dad knew it had to get to the vet ASAP, so he took it to the local animal hospital where they barely saved her. My mom was in for quite the shock the next morning when she discovered not only the new cat, but that she had to be given medicine every 3 hours. I honestly tried to help out when I could. My mom really wanted me keeping up in school. So for a month and a half, she stayed awake off of Halloween candy and coffee, giving Molly her necessary doses. So that's it for this Cat Week video. I will do another video mainly about Dahlia sometime in the future. But until then, check out any of the places listed below, like or subscribe, or both. And I'll see you next week with my first movie critique video.